What's up YouTube, I'm just another guy and welcome back to Ebbsfleet United. So here we are now guys, halfway through our 10th season in the save. And after an incredible year last year, winning the Premier League, reaching the quarterfinals in the Champions League, which is in the first attempt in the Champions League is very good. Overall just a really positive year last year. We're going to look to see how far we can do this, how well we can do this year. Goals going into the season for me were Champions League, Premier League, pretty much try and win every competition because I felt that was something realistically we could do. Now I know that's probably not so much a reality, but still, I'm still trying to aim everything I'm still in contention for. So we'll start this off by going straight into the league table. And currently we find ourselves sitting in second place. So we're still, we're still up there in the table. This wasn't one of the competitions I was talking about when I said we weren't in contention to win it. We're doing very well in the league so far. Overall, defensively and scoring goals, we are fine. Really a good enough level, in my opinion, of where we are in the table. It's very tight at the top as well, so no one's running away with it. When we won the league last year, Man City are running away with it at this point last year. There's no clear out-and-out current team who would, look like they're going on to win the title. The fact that we've lost 2 games, I'd say, gives us a slight edge. Currently, we're the harder team to beat, but teams around us are winning more games. We're drawing a few more than others, as well. So, there are some advantages and disadvantages to how we've been playing this season. But still, we're in for the title. Hopefully, we can continue. Hopefully, we'll win the Premier League yet again. That would be fantastic. But yeah, that's how we're going in the league. I don't really feel there's much more I can really go into. You can see that for yourself. So let's go into the transfers and have a look at who we brought in and out. So we'll go to the outs. You already know about Ulyssa Davila leaving the side for CSK Moscow for £2.2 million. Next guy to leave was Jesse Lingard. He left on a free transfer. He's now picked up from West Brom. Just had a really bad year last year, and because of that, I decided I didn't want to renew his contract. He's 30 years of age as well, so he's advancing in years. I just decided, you know what, I don't really need you anymore. I don't want to pay the wages. But 2 great years with us, definitely won't be forgotten. Contributed massively to the team, but his time had come to move on. Kulubali, he's joined Sivasspor on a free transfer as well. Had some decent moments for the team, especially in Europa League when we won it, but was just really a backup player for a long time now, and glad to see him go. Jero left for Osasuna. Again, just someone who did really well in his first 2-3 years for us, but didn't play last year, and as a result, obviously wanted out. So he's joined Osasuna in Spain, back to his home country. Next person you already knew about as well was Mario Amarilla. He joined Benfica for £15 million. He's now valued at just under that, but was a very good player for us, and I just decided I probably could get better out there. So far, I've not been too happy with the replacement I've got. I mean, I'm satisfied with the replacement I got, but I couldn't get an out-and-out world-class left-back, which frustrated me. But still, we've summoned to an indirect rival, so a team we could possibly face in Benfica, but someone I'm not really worried about if we come up and face, they're not a team I would say, they're going to beat us. So I don't really mind selling them to a kind of European giant, if you want to consider them that, for £15 million. Next guy, Fabio Deprella. He left the side for £1.2 million, joining Nottingham Forest. Glad to have got this guy off our wage budget after 2 years of just not really playing and not really needing him. He joined Pomelo last year as well and just struggled. So in the end, £1.2 million. We only recuperated about half the fee we actually spent on him. But in the end, it was better than nothing. And I was actually willing to accept nothing at a point because teams were just not really after him. Next guy we got rid of is Bersant Selina. He's been here for a long time now, since our Skrill Prem days, all the way up to the Premier League. And he's actually played in every season for us up until 2020-2021. Where last year he went out on loan to Nottingham Forest and did all right there. Surprised I managed to pick up £4.8 million for him. I really am. I don't think he's worth that money. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, and he did have his best year in the club's history in the Championship, scoring 17 goals and getting 19 assists. But I think that was a bit of a lucky season. I don't think he's a great player for the Championship level. Probably be good enough for League 1, League 2, maybe a push at Championship, but that's a low level Championship team. So £4.8 million, really good fee to pick up. Next guy, Nathaniel Chalobah, he left the side for £8.75 million to join Sunderland. Again, just a player I decided I didn't really need anymore. I thought we had better players than him, and to pick up £8.75 million is a really good fee. He's playing really well for Sunderland so far, but if you look at his record for me, he's not really done anything incredible. We about doubled his fee as well, so that's a plus, it's a positive. But yeah, I don't really mind seeing Chalobah leave, and again, Sunderland aren't really in direct competition with us, so I don't mind if he's playing well for them because it's not really going to affect me. Elsewhere, we loaned out a lot of players. I'll point out a few of them because a lot of them are actual people that we've just signed this season. But a few key people I want to point out: Luke Kinch, he's joined Dundee, who are in the Skrill Prem, Scottish Premiership. Struggled in his past 2 loans and he's struggling again at Dundee. Not great for the young lad coming through our youth system. Also, Pat Holloway, another youngster who came through our youth system. He's gone to Leyton Orient and is actually doing all right for them in League 2, which encouraging signs. Also, David Du Bois, he's joined Newcastle on loan. Hopefully, get first team football there at a Premier League level. He did very well with Malaga last year. So hopefully, 6 months last year, he did really well for them. And as you see so far for Newcastle, he's putting in decent performances. So happy with Du Bois getting performances at a good level. Kosalinik, I think is his name. He's joined Sunderland on loan in the Premier League. Really is struggling. Not a very good player. Probably needs to try and sell this guy as soon as possible because I don't think he's going to develop into anything spectacular. But apart from that, all these guys are just youngsters you won't really know about or players that I will point out in the future who we've just signed in. Elsewhere though, Tornstra, he's left to join Wolves on loan on a free. Didn't play for us last year and as a result really did moan, really wanted out, and the best I could do was just releasing him on free to Wolves. So we'll go to the ins now. So you already know about the first 4 guys. We'll go through them anyway, obviously. Jacobson, he came in as our backup left back for the season. Yet to play for us so far because he is the backup, so you won't really have anything to reflect on there. Morel is our backup goalkeeper. He's played started 2 times for us so far. Not done anything incredible when he's played. Kept a clean sheet in one of the matches in Europe as well. So Morel so far, I guess decent enough for a backup keeper. At least he's there. That's all he really needs to be. The first guy I actually spent money on this summer was 4.3 million. And actually it was the drawn highest amount we spent this summer. I didn't really feel we need to strengthen in too many areas. So Francesco Salvamini, he joined from Catania. I don't really know how to pronounce that. I'm really sorry if I butchered it. But we actually have an affiliation with them, with the team, and which means that any players that have bids from their team accepted from another squad, we can come in and match that bid, and then we have first choice of the player. And, I saw this guy here. He's a decent player, someone that I could definitely utilise as a backup player in the squad. He can play anywhere in that attacking midfield line. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to spend 4.3 million on him. I didn't really feel that was a massive amount of money to spend. As you can see with Serie A, he's actually putting some good performances for Catania. So far, I don't really think there's anything wrong with me signing him. He's putting some half-decent performances as well. So overall, I'm happy with the 4.3 million price tag we put on him. Torre, he come in from the Portuguese league. And so far, just really been a backup player. So nothing really I can base too much upon. He's just featured here and there. Pepe, he come in as another backup centre-back for the side. Again, not really featured, so nothing really I can go on. And I think he's not really happy. He's not getting enough games. He wants more first-team football, so hopefully he won't moan too much. Next guy, Gamache, he came in from Chelsea for 1 million. I actually wanted to sign this guy last season, but I couldn't afford the wages. So I waited for this season and I signed him in. We got him in because he's a very good centre midfielder, but I felt he'd be very good as a backup centre midfielder as well. And what ended up happening was we just couldn't use him in the side, and as a result, he's found it hard to bring into the team. Our centre midfielders are playing decently well, so in the end, he's limited to only 4 appearances, and he's really moaning. He's kicking up a fuss now. He wants to leave. He's transfer requested, everything. So I'm actually looking to try and get rid of this guy now after only a few months at the side, which is a shame because I feel he's a good player. But if he wants out, I'm going to oblige. I don't really care. He's only been here for a few months, and no real attachment to him. Next guy we spent money on, 4.3 million. Again, the highest we spent this summer was Zindanilo from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and this guy's our replacement left back for Amarilla. Overall, I say they're about similar in level for ability. This guy is of course 3 years older than Amarilla, and so far he's put in performances just below the level of Amarilla. So I'm overall, like I say, satisfied with the replacement we brought in. Not completely pleased because I feel we could get better. According to reports, he's only a good Premier League left back, and we had Amarilla, who was a leading Premier League left back, I think, last year. So we did have a better one before, apparently, according to reports and stuff. But overall, he's putting in good enough performances. I'm not really seeing anything. He's not like he's putting in shocking games. I mean, like, you do occasionally get a bad one, but you don't. He's not a majority of the time bad. And as you can see by his last 5 games, he's actually putting some really good performances. So overall, I can't really complain with Zindanilio so far. I think I said that right. And I'm going to point out two more guys as well, actually. Margin De Haan, I think it is pronounced. Dutch names, I really do butcher them. 17 years of age, this guy's got really good potential ahead of him, and was the reason I actually signed this guy. He's currently a backup striker. I say backup, he's sort of third choice alongside with Suarez, battling alongside Suarez although I believe Suarez is leaving the side. I think I've got that already confirmed. Yeah, Suarez is leaving the side in January due to a lack of appearances. He wanted to leave. Dehan will be sort of stepping up a little bit, trying to get a few more games here and there. But we signed for 625k, and overall, I think that's a good investment for a player I think has got a bright future ahead of him. Elsewhere, Joaquin Flores, he came in, 22-year-old, on a free transfer. He used to play for Galatasaray, and so far he's put in some really good performances at the centre midfield. And as you can see, free transfer for Flores. We sold the likes of Chalobah for £8.75 million. Really good, a really good bit of dealing there to pick up someone I feel about equal level, really. But elsewhere, the rest of these guys are sort of just skipped over and ignored. These are all youngsters that are currently out on loan. Lekakis is out on loan at Chester. Martin is currently out on loan at Leicester. Carey is currently out on loan on Brentford. Coffey is currently out on loan at Hercules. Sahin is currently out on loan at Nottingham Forest. And Dyer is currently out on loan on Southend. These are all players that I signed off free transfers because I feel that if they can develop, I can sell them more for profit. Pure reason I signed these guys. Maybe in the future they could be backup players for us, but for now they're just youngsters. I wanted to loan out so we could hopefully see a bit of benefit financially in the future. No, nothing else really there. So let's go into our fixtures and have a look at how we've done so far and what have we managed to win. So pre-season we went on a tour of America, and we actually have an affiliation now with Sporting Kansas City. They are now our financial we're sort of like a agreement to help us grow sell merchandise and stuff with the link with Sporting Kansas City. So that's a Bent Plus. Apart from that, just a few friendlies here and there. To start off our official season, we lost 2-1 in the Community Shield to Chelsea, our first defeat in the club's history at Wembley. Chelsea managed to overcome our run that has lasted a decade of being victorious at Wembley. Oh, it's not lasted a decade because we haven't played at Wembley a decade ago. But still, you know what? You get what I mean. Since I started this career, I've not lost at Wembley. Chelsea managed to do that, and it was thanks to a 90th minute own goal from Roland Chiesa. What an absolutely abysmal way to lose my first game at Wembley. So annoying. But anyway, it was a Community Shield. It didn't really mean too much. As long as we got our league form off starting in the right direction, I was going to be pleased, and we did. Aston Villa 2-1, Liam Kelly with a double. Good way to start. Then we came up against Peterborough, and Jordan Rhodes yet again managed to score against us, as it was a very, very competitive match, which surprised me because I still don't really rate Peterborough, despite their good year last year, thanks to the goal-scoring attributes of Jordan Rhodes. But still, he just managed to come away with a draw, and I guess in the end, that's the main thing, was Slovomeni picking up his first ever goal for the club. Elsewhere, 2-1 win against Stoke was also followed up by a 2-1 victory over Swansea before we entered the Champions League yet again this season. Straight away, we started off with a very tough game against Napoli. I believe they were the... I don't remember what ranked seed they were, but I believe they were maybe one of the highest. I don't know. We have currently Schalke, FC Copenhagen and Napoli. So overall, quite a tough group. Quite a lot of awkward teams there. All of them can present their challenge, and Napoli did that instantly, as we drew 3-3 to them in the first game of the group. And despite our first-minute lead from Cardoza, it ended up being a lot more open game than I predicted. And despite our dominance in possession, Napoli did a lot more with the ball when they had it. So a draw to start off our Champions League campaign was also followed up by a draw to West Brom before we got a little bit of revenge at Chelsea as we beat them at home 4-2 in the Capital One Cup third round. 4 different goal scorers there on the day. Of course, I would have happily been knocked out of the third round of the Capital One Cup to have won the Community Shield to compete and have continued our undefeated streak at Wembley. But, whatever, at least we progressed through to the next round of the Capital One Cup. Following that, beat Sunderland 2-1 and got our first win of the campaign in the Champions League, beating Schalke 2-0. Sousa and Gamache getting their 2 goals there. Before our first defeat in the league since about this stage last season. Chelsea managed to beat us 2-1. Chelsea now beating us twice this season out of 3 attempts. Which means that they are our competitors this year. They're currently top of the table, where we want to be. It's going to be a good year, I think, between us and Chelsea in terms of a rivalry. But we bounced back instantly. We beat Arsenal 3-0. Kelly, Sousa and Tervis all getting the goals there in a very comfortable performance at the Ebbsfleet Stadium. Before yet again another victory in the Community Shield, in the Champions League. All these competitions we're going to see. In the Champions League, we won 4-2 against them. Again, 4 different goal scorers contributing in a 4-2 victory. Before we lost to Manchester City, the team we'd previously lost to in the league. I know we've lost since then, but Manchester City managed to beat us at the City Manchester Stadium, which was a little bit annoying, but it's losing to a direct rival. But you can't win every game. They're always going to present challenges. And we had quite a tricky run of form, as you can see, from Schalke to City. We're all pretty tough games. And so to have only lost 2 of them, over I'm pretty happy with. So after that, Capital One Cup, yet again, 4th round. This time we won 4-2. Yet again, 4 different goal scorers. And also De Haan scoring his first goal for the club, I should say, and as well as Flores, I believe. Before 4-1 victory against Birmingham and a very easily 5-1 victory over FC Copenhagen. Batur getting a brace along with Sousa. Before a 1-1 draw against Liverpool. Not a bad result. Tobias Christensen getting probably one of his first goals for the club. I'm not too sure if he scored last season. And we continued our fantastic run of form since our last defeat with a 2-1 victory over Reading. Another draw against Napoli, which is disappointing. Before 3-0 victory against Wigan, 2-1 victory against Cardiff, 3-1 victory over Southampton, and a 3-0 thumping of Schalke, which meant in the Champions League group stage we managed to finish top yet again, this time undefeated in the group, which was a great achievement for the club. Another little landmark there, another little milestone to add to the collection, and also means we should be getting an easier draw for the next round, which I will of course show you in a second because it's already happened. Following that, we beat Fulham 4-2, this time 3 different goal scorers with Gray getting a brace, and before a shock defeat to Birmingham in the Capital One Cup quarter-final. We lost 6-5 on penalties, and this was a game we really shouldn't have been drawing, let alone losing on penalties. We should have beat them. Garmash had a shocking game. Apart from that, no one really played terribly for our team. It's just that Birmingham put up a good fight and a brave front and managed to push us all the way to penalties and ended up winning the game. Just a bit of bad luck, I guess. Nothing really else I can say there. And we finished off this update with 2 0-0 draws against Newcastle and Manchester City. So in the FA Cup, we've got Southampton, a team I think we can beat. In the Champions League, first knockout round, we have Atletico Madrid. It'll be a tough game, but a game again I think we can win. But so far this season, it means out of a possible of 5 trophies going into the season, we're only left competing in 3. And it's going to be 3 very tough cup competitions. The FA Cup, Champions League, and the league itself are all competitions, where a few bad games or one bad game can be enough to lose you the competition. So it's going to be a very tough final half of the season if we want to win something and continue our good form, which is currently 3 seasons in a row winning something and 3 seasons in a row winning something new. So for that to be true, and for this to continue our 4th season in a row of winning something new, we'd have to win the Champions League. Let's go into some player stats, I guess, for the league, and then I'll go through the player stats for my individual squad. So key passes, Alex Gray is currently top. Key tackles, Cordoza is currently top. Where are we in... Oops, sorry, I hit the mic. Where are we in goals? Sousa is currently drawn 7th with 10 goals. With Alex Gray and Tevis, both in 16th with 5 goals. So overall, contributions are key. But I don't really see anyone here that I really want to point out. So let's go into the, to the actual squad itself, and we'll have a look at who's doing well and who's playing well. So far this season, the whole back four has been doing decently well, apart from Kiata's slip up in the first game against Chelsea. It not really had anything else I can really point out and be like, yeah, you were shocking. Overall decent performances. Flores has put in a great partnership with Sakor so far this season. Torres done well over these past 5 games, but a little bit slow to get going. Hopefully that will change. As you see, Gamache is currently in the squad. Starting for us, that is because Alex Gray is tired, but he will be coming back into the team. Do not worry about that. I do not like Garmash and I don't really want to play him, but a few injuries and tiredness issues and things like that have meant he has to play. Levitt picked up an injury this season, but apart from that, he's been doing well so far. 8 assists so far. Only 1 goal. Hopefully he'll improve that in the second half of the season. Tervis has done really well this year, yet again stepping it up. 9 goals, 12 assists, had a fantastic start to the season. He'll be returning back to the starting lineup. Again, tiredness is becoming a factor. Now we're in that Christmas period, and we've got a lot of games congested into a very short space of time. But overall, just the key players so far for us this season have been the attacking force, really. Sakor has done well, the 2 centre-backs, the right-back even, you could say. Levitt has done well. Just these guys have been doing well. Kelly did well before, again, he's picked up an injury. He picks up a few injuries now of late, which is a shame. His natural fitness isn't really low either. He seems to pick up niggles every now and again, and as a result, whenever he becomes fit again, someone's typically doing well. Like so far this season, Alex Gray is doing so well. When Kelly comes back, I can't really drop him. Tobias Christensen scored his first goal for the club this season. I think it was first goal in his history. For the club anyway. So he's having a good season. Still not featuring in many games, especially with the with the quality of players that we've got in that position now. Tervis can play there. Some Salavamini can play there. Sakura pushed out there a few times as well. You know, it's just hard for him to get games. When he does play, he's playing well enough, so that's a positive. But apart from that, I don't think there's anyone else I really need to point out. And overall, I think this is going to be it for now, guys. So next time I meet you back will hopefully be a Champions League final live com. That would be fantastic. That would be the great achievement. But if not, it'll be an end of season update, just like last year, just like it's been for the last 10 seasons. And anyone have been added to anything? I don't really see anyone. But we'll wrap this up here, I guess. Liam Kelly is now an icon at the side. But apart from that, I don't think anyone else is in there who is currently a player for the side. Even Richard Levitt is still struggling to get in there. Facilities, actually, we've updated our facilities. We'll have a look through. Currently, we have superb youth facilities, good training, good junior coaching, average junior recruitment, and average corporate facilities. Financially, I haven't looked at that in a while. Financially, we're doing okay, but as you can see, we do struggle to stay afloat, and it's because we've got such a small attendance and such small, fan base. We can't really grow. That's why merchandising is so important, and that's why I do go to the places like America, like China, trying to grow merchandising sales, because it's so important for a club like us with such a small, stadium and things like that. We can't really afford just to sustain ourselves on an attendance of 18,000. It's impossible. We do fill our stadium a lot, and we do ideally need to expand it again, but that's not going to happen for any time soon. What is our salary per annum? It is the 10th highest in the league, so it's still not even near 100 million. It's still 40 million away from that. But it's just not sustainable for a club with such a small attendance. And it's just plain and simple, the hardened fact, which is why, again, I sort of don't really spend too much money. We had that one year where we spent a lot a few years ago. I think that was when we won the Europa League just after that. So I think it was actually last season we spent a lot, didn't we? No, the year before that. 41 million, as you can see, we spent a lot there. But apart from that, we've not really spent. And even then, we only spent about 10 million based on the net profit and stuff. Apart from that, we've not really spent loads of money. In fact, we made 20 million this year. So it shows that I'm really taking into account the finances of the club, because we can't sustain ourselves just off income alone from, fans and things like that. We have to do it financially by selling and buying players. We've got a few transfers I think we'll talk about coming into the second half of the season. This guy's joining as 21 years of age, Canadian centre midfielder, Boychuk, I think it's pronounced. I have no idea. Canadian name sounds quite Cherokee in a way. But he's had a great record for Toronto in the MLS. So really caught my eye, and overall just someone I think we can utilise. So he'll be joining at the start of the turn of the year. And also Chico as well is joining, 22 years of age, centre attacking mid, got some great passing, long shots on him. Again, he was a free transfer, so I couldn't really turn my nose up to him. I thought, worst comes to worst, we'll loan this guy out, or he'll sit on the bench for a year, loan him out, or maybe even sell him on after 6 months. So those are the players in. Players out, we're loaning out. Kerry already know about. These guys are already loaned out. Sakura is still having bids come after him, 32 million. He's now valued at 30. That's nowhere near. I'd expect about 60 for him, even though I don't really think he's worth 60. And Luis Suarez you already know about. So yeah, this is going to be it for now, guys. Next time I meet you back will be around the end of the season. So until then, guys, peace out.